Mrs. Midnight, and today we have a cup of coffee because we are going to gossip long and thoroughly, not about the positive side of Jae Kim in the dates of Hogwarts mystery, and nor about the negative side of Hermione, but about both of them.
Simpson, you diabolical.
Because as I was writing the screenplay for these videos that I intended to be two separate ones at the beginning, I realized that every positive point basically has a negative counterpart that pretty much leaves the toxicometer in neutral permanently, but also with a permanent tendency to go to either extreme at any given moment. Doing this analysis about the romantic options in Hogwarts mystery, I have noticed that no matter who you pick, the dates are always secret. And in Jae's case, I must say that this side of him I almost felt bad to write the counterpart for it, although it does exist, because it's very sweet of him that his reasoning to want the dates secret have nothing to do with wanting to hide the relationship with MC. Because when he says that it's good that we are keeping the dates secret even after being an official couple, he then gives the real reason, which is that he is technically supposed to be in detention. Which means that despite the possibility of getting in more trouble, he took a chance to go on a date with MC. And all this being said, that's very sweet, but the negative counterpart is precisely that he has to escape detention to be able to see MC at all. This could also lure MC themselves into normalizing this dynamic as well. Like, I always see you in the kitchens and let's see if Pete let me hang there with you, or if that doesn't work, for MC to get in trouble themselves on purpose just to be able to see Jae in detention. Despite being out of his comfort zone, when he is with MC on the dates, he's very sweet, he has very romantic and thoughtful gestures. For example, we can see it in Hagrid's garden, when he asks us if we want to pick up the pumpkins. And although he is open to us maybe saying, yeah, let's pick them all, he is realistic, and if the MC listens to him and says, yeah, no, let's do something else, he very sweetly tells us that some other day he will make us some pumpkin pastries. And I'm still waiting for mine, Jae, where are they? He's very straightforward with what he wants, what he likes, and this helps the MC not have to be guessing all the time in order to please him. And on the other hand, he doesn't put so much pressure on the MC for everything to have to be perfect all the time for him to be happy, and this allows the interaction to be fun, enjoyable, and healthy for both sides. But unfortunately, the mentality of the glass half full, same way as it makes him optimistic in the days, sometimes also makes him be reckless, irresponsible, and not only with himself but also dragging MC into trouble for not thinking of the consequences of his acts. Although Jae has a natural empathy for animals, not in the sense of loving them maybe, but at least knowing what they need, noticing if they are scared. Like when he says, look at Fang, he looks like he saw a Bogart. If MC decides to scare Fang to have fun, instead of telling MC what the hell are you doing, what's wrong with you, he takes MC's side laughing at something they did. I don't know if maybe in complicity that I frown upon it, but if the person I like does it, it's okay. Which is not good, that's not love. Your morals should not be flexible like that just because someone you care about does something that you know is wrong. Or if he simply is that gullible that MC would be a very bad influence on him, bringing out his most toxic side, and most likely vice versa too. This could also be considering a much more concerning mentality, which is the end justifies the means. Because the same way that he thinks, well, I normally don't like being cruel to animals, but if it gets me a relationship with MC and it makes us laugh, yeah, let's scare the dog. He also later on thinks that, yeah, I know stealing is wrong, but because I think I have a very good reason for it, I'm going to act like in my case, stealing was relatively okay. And the worst part is that he drags MC down with him on all this, and it's part of the interaction to become his official boyfriend or girlfriend. This is his idea of a perfect date, to ask you to be his official relationship. I'm sorry, but I could think of 20,000 things that would be nicer to do with Mr. Midnight before stealing something as a date plan. But this is not the worst part, but the way he asks you to it. Because he tells you you would be the only person I would trust for this, and normally that's nice to hear, but when it comes to hearing it to commit a felony, I'm sorry, but... And besides, when you, the MC, tell Jae, so you are asking me to sneak in Filch's office and steal the things that he has confiscated, he uses euphemisms like they made things better. He tells you, sneaking in, that's too strong, I would prefer... How does he say, like casually entering or something like that? And then the same with stealing. Stealing is such a strong word. I would prefer liberate the objects that were taken from poor innocent students like us. And again, that's a lame-ass excuse because I don't think he could care less about those students. Because if he did, it would be more like a Robin Hood kind of quest, like let's steal all those objects to take them back to their owners. But no, he wants a remembrance for himself. And yeah, this all derivates in a shared moment of vulnerability between Jae and MC, when Jae tells MC that he wants a remembrance to honor a memory with his father. Because since they couldn't afford one of those because I suppose they are expensive, Jae's father became his human remembrance, pretty much giving him a red paper whenever he forgot anything, and a white one when the problem was solved. And yeah, in essence, wanting a remembrance to honor that is beautiful. I would definitely help him, but in the sense of, if I have money, I will buy you one. I will buy you 15 for the matter. If I don't have money and you don't either, we will work for however long we need to until we can afford one. But no, he thinks of stealing and asking you to help him do it. And that's also another red flag of Jae that I see. He complicates his life and MC's in consequence unnecessarily. There are many other ways to get a remembrance. No need to steal it. And he even causes the MC to have to lie for him because he starts telling Filch that we were chasing after a creator and MC has to compliment the lies, which could have been avoided in the first place. And to top it off, the cherry on top of the cake in the worst sense possible, like the rotten cherry on top of the molded cake, is that on the interaction of Padfood Tea Shop that you unlock after reaching level 7 of romance with him. He asks Madame Padfood where she gets her tea, if it's true that she imports it from all over the world and what have you, and she tells him yes, but with an expression like, yeah, why do you ask? And that got my attention at the moment, like, what's wrong with the question? But then it hit me, because the moment she leaves to bring the tea, Jae tells MC, don't worry, I didn't steal anything. But then he adds that it's only because it's very hard to tell which herbs are magical and which are not by plain sight. Which gets me thinking, okay, so if you knew how to distinguish and you saw that they are magical, you would be willing to ruin a date spot for us, a place that I enjoy to visit, just to get a couple galleons for the herbs that he would steal. Which gets me thinking that same way that he ruins his free time getting punished all the time in detention because of getting in trouble, he could also normalize ruining positive things for MC, just to keep his comfort zone and his lifestyle. Which also gets me thinking that his nostalgia for his father, the admiration for the lesson he teaches him, and his desire to honor it, although they are all beautiful traits of his, ironically bring out the worst as well, because instead of learning the lesson and taking the best out of it, he ends up corrupting it and turning it into the perfect justification to do something that probably if his father watched him do, would not only be angry but also disappointed, which besides show that Jae, even if he appreciates the lesson and loves his father, has not understood it yet. And although it's nice to see the difference coexisting peacefully in the relationship because that's actually important for it to be healthy, seeing MC accepting Jae in senses like we are in the tea shop and we ask him, you're already thinking who to sell these balls to, aren't you? Like it was the most normal thing to be in a date and be thinking what to do in the black market with the things you're going to steal from there, shows that in order for the relationship to be sustainable, if Jae keeps his current lifestyle, it would take for MC to normalize many things that are extremely toxic. Because even with an honest way of living, it's not healthy for the relationship to be about work 24/7 only. But if besides your work is illegal and dangerous for you and your significant other, do I really need to explain more about why the realometer between Jae and me will not even turn on anymore? Well, I even got hot after this analysis and after getting so mad about his toxic side. But anyways, in conclusion for the toxicometer, although in the individual analysis I had put him in a neutral level, and I thought he could incline to either extreme depending on his decisions, seeing the interaction where he asks you to date officially, that he thinks that the perfect date plan for something so important for the two of you is to get you to help him steal, and the way the black market, getting in trouble for everything even unnecessarily, and dragging MC down with him is so normalized in Jae that he would almost have to turn into a whole different person to change out of that, or MC would have to corrupt himself just as much. I sadly cannot leave him in neutral anymore. I'm not going to lower him to septic tank, I think that depends on how far he lets this side of him go, but I at the very least have to lower him to toxic. And since the toxicometer changed in the negative sense, both the realometer for MC and for myself are going to suffer the consequences as well. Because when it comes to MC, if they were unlikely, I'm going to have to lower them to be logical. And the reason for this is that the level of toxicity in a relationship does not only influence how positive or negative it is, but also even how feasible. And again, if for the relationship to be even sustainable on the long run, one person would have to corrupt themselves, or the other would have to change themselves completely, that would not only be unhealthy and unfair, but also rather unlikely to happen if you ask me, because nobody changes that much. If you like this analysis of Jae Kim as a romantic option for MC after seeing the dating interactions, don't forget to leave me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and click on the bell so YouTube lets you know when I upload the next analysis. For now, I have to leave you, but not before reminding you that Mrs. Midnight loves you, hopes to see you next time, and wishes you a great weekend. See you soon!